Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Young and Anointed podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. A special shout out to the people who have been tuning in regularly every single week, showing support, coming and talking to us about the show. Today is a special day. Today is 100% a special day for a couple different reasons on a couple different levels. Now, some one of those levels isn't the best right now, but the rest of the levels I think are going to be pretty great. I've even this episode I've actually told this is the first episode that I actually went and sent out messages telling people, hey, look, this coming Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, I need you to tune into this show because there's something for you on it for sure. Now, like I've had conversations about other stuff and I've made sure to mix it into the show specifically for people, but I think this one right here can apply to everybody. Today is January 12th. It is 8, and today's episode is on how to discover your purpose. I think this is going to be the most important episode uh, to this point. To this point, and I appreciate you for tuning in, and I appreciate you for joining us today. Now, I want to give a preface to this episode. Um, we won't. This isn't something. This isn't an episode that is for everybody. It's not. It's not for everybody. So if you are one of those uh, particle in the universe people, one of those I'm an accident people, this might not be for you. I'm sorry, but this might not be. There's still going to be a lot of good stuff in here. There's still going to be a lot of useful stuff in here for you, but I'm just telling you right now, if you think that you were just an accident, the earth is just a speck of dust in the universe and everything happened because of a boom, and then we became here, we got to this planet, and everything that you think, do, have, see, every person you've ever met is an accident, then I promise you that this episode is not for you, because everything that I'm going to say comes from faith. Everything that I'm saying today in this episode is going to come from a place of faith. God created the universe, and that's where everything that comes out today in this episode about purpose is going to come through. So if that's not something that you're into, if that's not something that you agree with, and you really believe that you were just an accident and nothing really matters in your life and anyone else's because everybody's an accident, then I'm sorry, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that you might not agree with in this episode. But hey, if you're on that other side, if you're one of those people who believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, he was buried and he rose again, and in 7 days he created the universe. 7 days, there's a difference between a day between us and him, but 7 days he created the universe, and we are all here for a reason. Then this is definitely for you. This is definitely the episode for you, because if you believe that, then you believe that there's a reason that you are here. If you believe that, then that means that you were placed in your mother at the exact time that you were supposed to. You came out at the exact time that you were supposed to come out. And everything that's happened in your life to this point is building up to what you are supposed to do on this earth. Your perspective, your gifts, everything that you do, everything you've seen has built the person that you are supposed to be, that you were created to be. And your life matters. You're not an accident. Your life matters. So if you believe that, then please stay tuned, because I think we're gonna have a good conversation. So um just to go ahead and address the elephant in the room, I don't know where Karen is. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't know where Karen is right now. We talked last night about the show. She was going through the notes and she was really excited about talking about this, but I've called her like 5 times and I haven't seen her just yet. If she pops in, I'm gonna bring her into the show. But if not, I had, we got a responsibility. We said 8 o'clock, so I had to go live at 8 o'clock. So When she comes in, she'll definitely have some really nice stuff to add. We both had this purpose journal that we've kept for years. I've actually been studying this for the past 3 years. I think I'm on book number 11 on the topic. Uh, but yeah, so let's go ahead and jump in right into it. So again, this is the Young and Anointed podcast, episode number 14, How to Discover Your Purpose. And my name is Martell Fletcher. Let's get into it. Now, the definition of purpose. I've in my reading, in my full reading on the subject of purpose. Of course, the reading will starts with the Bible, and in between has the Bible in it. But then I read other books like Start with Why, books from Les Brown, Miles Monroe, books from all different authors from all different walks of life. I read a book from that was translated to English from Japan on their philosophy of life, because they've got some of the people who've lived the longest ever, and they boil it down to work and purpose. So I had to figure out what was keeping them going, and what they actually think about purpose. But the definition that I came up with in reading all that was the continuous development of your God-given gifts and passions in the pursuit of the vision that God has for your life. Okay, so the continuous development of your God-given gifts and passions in the pursuit of the vision that God has for your life. Okay, so what that means is that your purpose is now your purpose on this earth while you are here. I mean, is something that God put inside of you. Every time that every time a person creates something, there's a purpose within it. So if I create a mouse, right, the mouse's purpose was to be connected to the computer so that I could move, so that I can have a hand inside of the screen. Okay, the purpose of this microphone is to take the audio from in here and then project it to you through this computer. Purpose, that's a purpose of a thing. So just like how these things, like a light was created to brighten up a room, just like how these things were created, you and I were created. So God took us, he built us, he put the arms on, he put the head on, the eyes, he gave you a nice nose, he gave you some hair, some legs, and put everything together just for you, and then put you where you are supposed to be in the timeline of the universe, so that you can do a thing while you were here. Okay, so there's a reason, there's a specific reason he put you here the way you are, around the people that you were around, for a reason. You will not know the full reason. I'm sorry, I can't just come and tell you, oh, you were born to be a doctor at the middle school down the road. You were born to be a teacher at this middle school down the road from this year to this year. No, our purpose is way bigger than what we will ever be able to know, especially while we're here, because we can't see. The picture's too wide for us to see. The picture is much too large for us to see. So there's no way that we'll be able to see the whole thing, but we can get onto our purpose by continuously developing the gifts that we have and pursuing the passions that we have in our spirit. So we like to do certain things. We like to do certain things, and we're good at certain things. I don't know if you noticed, but most people would say that there are some things that they just love doing more than other things that they like to do. Okay, there's some things that they just feel naturally better at than most people. Like when you get into this thing, right? When you were at this thing when you were a kid, you could do this better than the other kids, and you had no training on it at all. Like you never went to a practice, had a coach. You never was on it day in and day out, night and day, outside, inside, studying, whatever. You didn't do that. You just walked in and you was good. You was killing it. There's a reason for that. There's certain things that we have inside of us that we were made to have. that we were supposed to have, that we're supposed to nurture, and that we are supposed to build on, develop, so that we can grow, so that we can live in our purpose. And those areas, that area where of our passions and our gifts is the same lane of our purpose, and within that we're going to feel the most fulfilled, and within that we're going to do what we need to do and affect the people that we are supposed to affect in our life. Look, our purpose is so big. Our purpose, we can't, like I said, we can't fully just put a label on it, define it, because it's way bigger than what we could know. There's so many people that we are supposed to affect in our lives. Like if you have a certain gift, and inclination to do certain things, then you probably should be touching a lot of people before you leave this planet. Like you have a huge responsibility to touch a lot of people before you leave this planet. And that's all within your purpose. You will never know. You will never know the full extent of your purpose, because if I'm the school teacher, right? I'm an elementary school teacher, and it's something that I love to do. It's what I'm passionate about doing, and it's something that I've always naturally been good about. Kids just seem to gravitate towards me, and I can teach them something. I can teach them things in a way that they attach themselves to, and then they can expand, and they can grow, and they develop as a young person. I could be that school teacher, and then my whole thing, I couldn't know this. I could not know this, but that student that walks into my class, and he's been abused. His parents like have abandoned him. Everything seems to be going wrong. He's got no money. He's got his clothes are beat up. He walks to school every day 3 miles, but he doesn't tell anybody that. Uh, but me showing that kid love, me giving that kid my all, could be the reason that kid becomes president of the United States. I could never, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I could be 65, 80 years old while that kid's in first grade, and I could die. And then later on, I find out, or I don't find out, that kid becomes the president of the United States, or that kid starts that foundation for kids just like him, because the love that I showed that kid. This is purpose. This is purpose. And it's so much bigger than us. It's so much bigger than what we can what we can think, what we can grasp, what we can imagine. So it's crucially important, and that's why I think this episode is one that has to be replayed and has to be really, really, really thought about. Because living without purpose, we've seen it. We've seen it 100,000 times. Living without purpose leads to a lot of stress, leads to a life unfulfilled, leads to regret, and it leaves a lot on the table in your own life. And it doesn't, and when you don't affect the people, it says to him who has, he will be given more, and to him that does not, is even that's going to be taken away. So you've got something here. You've got something in this situation. You've got something that you need to use, and it's within you to use it, because there's people that are there's lives at stake. like like there's not just people who need you and need your gift, but you are here at the exact time and the exact location that you were supposed to be in, because there are people that you need to affect right now. Okay. And so with you not doing what you were supposed to do on this planet, with you not doing that, you don't affect that kid the way you were supposed to affect. You came into work that day and you were upset because you ran out of bagels. Your husband ate the last bagel and you were pissed off. So you walked in and then you came and gave a half job to that new kid who needed that love at that time. He was bullied for the rest of the school. He was upset with life. He got into a gang because they were the only people who appreciated him. He died. Your purpose is bigger than you. Your purpose is bigger than you know. Understand that. So the next thing I want to talk about is okay. I kind of talked about a little bit about what that means in relation to you, what purpose means in relation to you. But I want to just go ahead and bust a myth real quick. While I've got you, I want to just bust a myth real quick. So I was talking to my cousin not too long ago, and he was telling me, I was out. We were like, we have these deep discussions when I go to work out. Okay, because my aunt, they built a gym, a real gym in their basement. It's the most amazing thing. They built a gym in their basement, but I am the only one with a membership. And I use it very, very often. But sometimes when I'm there, my cousin's there, and we get into these really deep conversations about life, these philosophical conversations. He's been talking to one of the Black Israelites, and they've been telling him stuff, and I'm asking questions, and then he'll go ask the question, bring it back, and then I'm like, "What? Well, how about this?" And then he'll go ask the question, bring it back, and it's just a whole deal. But we'll talk forever about just stuff. But one day I think we got to the discussion of success, or you know, what's the most important thing in life. And so we got, and it was kind of an argument. There's a lot of things that we agree on, and there's a lot of things that we don't agree on, but it's like that middle ground is where we have the most interesting conversations, because it's like we only kind of agree with a lot of what each of us says. We only kind of agree with it, and that's what keeps the conversation going. Because if we completely agreed, we'd be like, "Oh, great, all right, we're done." And if we disagreed, then we're like, "Hey, my man, you crazy? We just this is not worth the time." But that middle ground, we're like, I get it, but what about this thing? You know what I mean? And so we got to the point of, what's the most important thing? And he was talking, he was telling me. He said, "Okay, so like happiness has to be the most important thing to go for in life." In Ecclesiastes, he says, "In all of everything that we do is just like chasing after the wind. You grabbing at stuff, you reaching, you ain't getting nothing. So at the end of it all, make sure you at least was happy about it. It makes sure at least you were happy in the toil that you went through in life." That's what Ecclesiastes said. So he was like, "Yeah, so happiness has to be the most important thing." And I'm like, "Well, happiness is important. I think that is important. I think it's more of an indicator, though, because happiness can't possibly be the most important thing, because what makes me happy could easily affect you in a negative way. And if I am here on this earth for a purpose from God, a God that loves everyone, as you're supposed to love everybody as yourself. So if I'm here for a reason that was put in me through the person, through the creature, the creator that put me here to love everybody as myself, and what I like to do, what makes me happy, hurts you, then something's up. There has to be something up. There's no way that floats. So, because think about it like this. So, like, don't you think? And you can roll back the tape. Ted Bundy was happy when he was killing and raping females on a regular basis across the country. Wouldn't you? So, I think Osama bin Laden, he probably had a TV screen and he could watch it live. The planes crashing that he sent his men to go do that thing. He sent them to do that, and they crashed into that building. I bet he was cheering. I bet that made him really happy. I bet that made him extremely happy. Look, I bet the Pharisees actually, it says it. The Pharisees were standing by, and they were proud to crucify Jesus. They were proud to kill a man that came to tell them who really didn't. He healed hundreds of thousands of people while he was here, and he went trying to spread good news and getting people to live well, to live right, to live holy lives. And they crucified this man because what he was saying didn't agree with what they believed. So he's like, "Nah, you gotta die, big dog." They crucified him. That made them happy, right? Now, there's like, you can think about this. I mean, think about the Europeans when they came up, when they went to Africa, right? And they saw all these people who weren't like them and weren't as established. Their nation wasn't as established as theirs was. And they said, oh, they saw dollar signs. They saw dollar signs when they went to Africa. They said, oh yeah, y'all see this? This is it. We white. We fair skinned. They not. They different from us. We're from God. They're not. They took and they brought the Africans over to America and started and just dollar signs are going off left and right. Don't you think that made them happy too? So I can't agree with the idea that happiness is the most important thing in our lives. Just make sure you're happy. Just make sure, it's okay. It's okay. As long as you're happy, as long as that thing makes you happy, then you're good to go. It has to go deeper than that. It has to go deeper than that. It has to go deeper than that because you are more than that. You are deeper than that. What makes me happy is if my dad buys a box of pizza and I'm hungry, I am happy. I'm happy if I get to eat Ferrero Rocher, the chocolate, those little chocolate balls, and then watch a movie. But if I was just eating pizza and chocolate and watching movies all day, every day, we wouldn't be talking right now. Like this thing wouldn't be happening. Like there would be a lot of things that I would have missed out on. There would be a lot of stuff that I wouldn't know. There was a lot of people that I wouldn't have met, and there would be a lot of things that I would not have done if my whole life was just about being happy. You got to put the work in. A lot of times, look, you got to put the work in when it comes to your purpose. You got to do something. You have to do something. Look, I was reading in that book from the Japanese. It's called the Ikigai. That's what they call purpose. Okay, and so they talked about the people who lived the longest lives. I'm talking like 90 plus, 100 plus, 110 plus people who have lived on the earth for a century. Okay, the one thing that they had in common was they never stopped working. These people at the age of 103, they were working still. And that was their thing. They got up in the morning and they got to work on whatever it was that they liked to do, whatever they were passionate in, whatever they were good at doing. They did that thing on a regular schedule their whole lives. Not because, oh, I gotta pay these bills. Oh man, I gotta get this check this Friday, because if I don't get this check this Friday, the roof is gonna come down. I can't pay my car. They went to work because it made them feel fulfilled. They got fulfillment out of work because it's what they liked to do and what they were good at. They were part of a community. What their work helped their society. Their work helped them to be help them with their identity. They could identify themselves in what they were supposed to do. So they kept working. So they could work they didn't work 100 years if they're 100 years old, but they worked for all those decades because they got fulfillment from it. And the people who died, retirement is a new thing. Retirement is not in the Bible. Retirement is not biblical. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but retirement is not biblical. It's not a thing that, everybody's just planned to do. Look, when you stop moving, when you stop working, when you stop doing things that are meaningful to you and the people that you feel most passionate about, when you stop doing things that actually matter, you effectively die faster. I truly believe that. I believe that if you could be working a passionate and fulfilling life for those 30, 40 years that you're in the job, you're in the workforce, but then you decide to retire for the rest of your life, I feel like the clock breaks, that little tink, it gets that little tink in it, and then your time just starts to move a lot faster. It's because you're not doing anything. It's because you're not fulfilling that purpose anymore. It's because you stopped. And there's more that you were supposed to do. There's more people that you were supposed to affect in your life. You gotta die empty. And purpose is the way to do that. Living within your purpose is the way to do that. So now I want to talk about your gifts. I've kind of talked about a little bit of, happiness and the definition of purpose, but I want to talk about your gifts. So we were all born with certain gifts and abilities. We were all have within our makeup. Like I said, if there was a creator, then you weren't built without the ability to do what you were supposed to do. So within you are certain characteristics within your makeup. Your perspective is part of your purpose. Okay. And so inside of you are certain gifts and abilities that are going to help you to live out your purpose. I'm talking about those things that, like I said, the things that you were just naturally were good at. Those things that you could somehow you without any practice, you just seem to be good in this area. Like that's like, whoa, that when that guy does that thing, he's just nuts. He's just nuts at that thing. Like, what is that? You talk to him about it, he's like, yeah, no, I don't, I've really never done this. Or you're that elementary school kid and you just so happen to be doing, you just so happen to be faster than everybody. You just so happen to be able to speak, you'll dance, you can do this thing, everybody gravitates towards you. There's different people have different gifts, and those gifts are supposed to be used. You have to use those gifts. Those gifts will make room for you. Your gift will make room for you, and it's a part of who you are, and it's a part of your purpose. And if you got to develop, now look, work, like having something, having a gift and not working at it, talent, what is the old quote? It's like work beats talent when talent doesn't work. Look, you have a talent. You were born good at something. You were born to do something, but you got to put the work in. You have to. You just have to. Look, I'm in the gym right now. I know speaking is something that I've got a gift in. I don't look, because the thing is, you can give me a sentence, you can give me a quote, you can give me a phrase, and I can go. I can just go. I've done a lot of studying. I've done a lot of preparation and like preparing so that I can be able to speak so fluently. But right now I'm in the gym. That's what this podcast really does. But you have a gift too. And now there's a danger when it comes to conforming. A lot of people, like, they'll be like, oh man, I don't really have a gift, so I'm just going to do this thing because I can learn a couple things and then just be good at it and just do this or that. That's the person who should have been the doctor that cured cancer, but instead became a lawyer, and they hate their job and they don't like their life. Now, understand the difference between and what I just said. I just said that there was the person who was supposed to be the doctor and cure cancer, but they became a lawyer. That doesn't mean that anything's wrong with being either of them. But the person was supposed to do more as a doctor, because if you can cure cancer, you can affect a lot of people and change a lot of lives. There's a huge difference. Now, there could be another person who decided to become a doctor and never cured cancer, never did anything significant in that area, but they were supposed to be a lawyer and fight that case for that civil rights activist who should have gotten off, which was going to change the tide of a generation. Look, your purpose is bigger than you. Your purpose is bigger than you. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but look, you got to understand this thing. This gift, this talent that you have, that you were born with, is something that you need to develop, because we need you. We need you. We need you to be good at that thing. We need you to just work on that thing, because my kids need you. My kids need you. The world needs to be affected by whatever it is that you were supposed to bring here. So if you don't spend any time developing that thing or even finding it, then you have done a disservice to mankind. Understand that. Please understand that. You have a gift. We're all leaders. We're all leaders in something. We're supposed to be leaders in something. And your gift is your gift is the reason that you're supposed to be a leader in that area. Now, and when I say leader, don't please don't misunderstand and think that I'm talking about a title. Like, oh, he's the boss, he's a leader, he's a manager, she's the manager, so she's supposed to be the leader. A leader is somebody who leads and doesn't need follow, like he doesn't expect followers. A leader's not going after followers. A leader is leading because that's their area. That's what they do. They're not looking to the left or to the right because they're too busy doing that thing. That's a leader. So in your area of your talent, your gifts, you need to be leading in it. You need to be developing that thing, and developing it without looking at anybody, without looking or conforming to anything else, because you need to be developing you and that gift. You need to be developing it so heavy that you ain't got time to be looking to the left or to the right. That thing is where you're supposed to lead. People are going to be more attracted to your gift and what you were put on this earth to do because you have developed that thing, and you become that leader because you're so busy working on that thing that you were born to do. Look, your talent and the development of it makes you a leader. And when you develop that thing, people will gravitate towards you. Don't be one of those people who says, man, my cousin, she can sing. She's really good at a bunch of stuff. So she's gifted. I'm not. I've never really been able to sing or dance or anything like that. So I ain't got a talent. Look, stop thinking that. You're too important to be thinking stuff like that. That's just a trick. That's just a disgusting trick. Now, you have a gift. You just need to go ahead and do some more stuff so you can find it. Look at this. Look, there's a woman that I met a couple months ago. She is an assistant for a lot of different artists and entrepreneurs in Michigan. Okay. And so her name, I call her TT. Okay. And she's one of my favorite people. She's one of my favorite people that I have met. And she's absolutely amazing. Now, TT, if TT decided at one point in her life that, okay, I can't sing, so that's not my area, that's not my gift, I don't have one, so I'm just going to do whatever. And then she never got into it. She never got to actually into being an assistant. Now, TT is an assistant for these artists, and she is hands down one of the best assistants, the best assistant that I've ever seen. And it's something that it seems like it comes so naturally to this woman. And like, you can try to do what she does as an assistant. You can think, okay, so TT does this, so I'm gonna just do this, and this, but it doesn't come naturally to me. So she's way more effective than I am in being an assistant. Now, it's amazing how she does it. And when she does it, she just gets connected to more people. This person over here. She ends up in this place doing this thing with these people because she's working within her gift. She was born to be that level of an assistant, and she's amazing at it. And her life is going in an upward direction. She is successful right now because she's doing what she's put on this earth to do. She has a gift. She decided she found it. And if you're having trouble finding yours, you just got to understand you need to do some more stuff. If you've been looking at this one person, this example of what they do and what they're good at, and you decided that, since I don't have these things, I don't have anything, you need to stop looking at them and you need to go find yours, because that's really important. Look, I was just so fortunate that in high school and elementary school and middle school that it seemed like I was in every sport. It seemed like I dabbled in every single club, and I decided that I was going to figure out, okay, I like doing this, I like doing that, I don't like doing that, I'm good at this thing, great. And when you expose yourself to these different things, you realize that there are certain things that I'm just better at than other things. You might be good at a lot of stuff. But there are some things that you are just elevated to a different level naturally. There's something there. You got to understand there's something there. And also, don't misunderstand me. Just because you have a gift, that doesn't mean you don't have multiple gifts. You could be outstanding in a couple different areas, but you just got to understand, you got to find it and you got to use it. Work on those things. Maybe not all at the same time, but work on those things. You were born for a reason, and we need that. We really need that. We need you to develop all those things because they're all going to come together at some point. You don't know how, I don't know how, but I promise you they will. There was a reason that you have them. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Develop that thing, develop those things, and bring it to the world, because somebody needs to be affected by that thing that you have inside of you. Let it out. Let it out. Develop that thing. So you have a gift, and don't let anybody tell you that you don't. Everybody was like, everybody tells you as a kid, oh, you're special. You're so special. And then you get older, and then they're like, you're not that special. Look, go to class. Look, you are number 1324.6. Go to class. Here's your ID. You fall in line with the rest of them and do these things. Get your degree. Go get a good job. Whatever. Look, you are born to be an individual. There's a reason that you're here. There's certain things that are there's no other you, right? And there won't be any other you ever. There wasn't one before, and there won't be one later. Understand, you are here for a reason, and you are the only one that is just like you. That's it. There's no more. Whatever your name is, insert your name and say, there is nobody who will ever exist that is this person. There's no other me on the planet ever. There won't be. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is because, your perspective is going to be different. Your gifts were placed inside of you, and you were here at a certain time and a certain place for a certain reason. You need to go do what you were supposed to do. It's people make it complicated, but it ain't that complicated. Look, a life of purpose is going to bring you fulfillment. You're going to find that you might be good at some stuff, or you could study certain things and go do certain things, and you might be good at it, but you're never going to get that fulfillment that you would get as if you were living in your purpose. Definitely, you got to understand that. With living within your purpose is a life that is lived fulfilled. Okay, you can die empty when you're living in your purpose. You can't any other way. So I'll ask you, how important is it to find your purpose? Just answer that for yourself. If you were put on this earth for a reason, and however big the number is of people are supposed to be affected by what you have inside of you, and you were placed on the earth at a certain time, in a certain location, around certain people with certain gifts, to do a certain thing, and someone else's life depends on you doing what you were put on this earth to do, how important is it? How important is it? So the consequences of purpose, a long life, a fulfilled life, a life of success, a life, you're going to get that happiness. I already said earlier that happiness is overrated, and don't fool yourself into believing that's the most important thing, because it ain't. But you're going to get that happiness when you live within your purpose. And also your purpose is going to get you that position in the kingdom. God's going to come. There's a story before we go too long, because I got to get into how exactly the equation. But there's the story of the talents. Okay. Matthew 25:14-30. There was a master. He had 3 servants, and he gave one this amount of gold, another a little less than that, and another a little less than that. And so he let them go for a time, and they were going to report back later. One of them, he put them boys to work. He put that gold to work, and he multiplied it. He brought back 5, 10, 20 times more than what the owner gave him in the first place, right? I think that number's a little off, but just bear with me here. The next one, he went and put it to work. He didn't make as much as the first guy, but he put that boy to work and brought back more. He multiplied it. The last one, who was given a little bit, he dug a hole and buried his in the ground. he dug a hole, put his gold into the ground, covered it up, and then came back to the master like, hey, master, I got you this. Look, hey, master, look, I got you this thing. You gave me this. I knew you wanted it back. I I understand you, big dog, and I gave you this. Right? Right? Good. Did I do good? And then the master said, look, you unfaithful, you unfaithful waste of my time. Nah, see, look. The one who was given a lot and he multiplied it, he was rewarded. He was like, I'm gonna give you even more because I trusted you with some, and I could trust you with some, so I'm gonna give you some more. You got to think about that in the same way of your talent and your gift. He gave the other person, the second servant, some, and then he multiplied that as well. And then the third one, he gave him something, and then he didn't do nothing with it. So the master took away what he had. Understand this: that your gift, what you were put on this earth to do, your area of expertise, your talent area is something that you need to do. You need to use so that you can multiply. You need to get better at that thing, and you need to bring more people to the kingdom. Understand that's what it's all about. In reality, your purpose is supposed to be leading people to the kingdom. You're leading people to a life that they're supposed to be living. So when I use my gift and I can be an ambassador of the kingdom of heaven, then I can multiply, right? And then if I can multiply, God said, "Oh, okay, old boy over here working. All right, let me give him some more. Let me give him some more. Let me give him this opportunity. Let me give him this resource, this experience, this person, these finances, whatever it is. Let's go ahead and give it to him so he can go ahead and keep increasing." 1 second. Because my faithful servant is doing what he is supposed to do. So you got to understand that. Look, like that's a life of purpose. If you have and you use and you multiply, if you have and you use, you can be given more. But if you go ahead and just neglect that thing and take the easy route, take the route of least resistance, that's what it is. And you decide, you know what, I'm never gonna pursue that thing. I know I'm good at this, but it makes more sense right now to do this thing, and I'm just gonna keep doing it. Or I'm just gonna go instead. I'm just gonna work at the plant because I know I'm really good at drawing. I know I'm really good at singing, dancing. I know that I'm really good at speaking. I know that I'm outstanding at leading, managing. I know that I'm just amazing at assisting, helping. I know that people gravitate towards me when they have an issue. I know that people just feel warm when they're connected to me, but I'm not going to do any of those things. I'm not going to go pursue any of that. I'm just going to work here at the plant because it makes sense right now. It's easy. I know I can retire in 30 years. There's no real risk or planning. I don't need to do too much thinking about it because everything's just placed right in front of me, and I just got to move this to here, and I'm good to go. Listen, your purpose is bigger than you. Your purpose is bigger than you, and there's a lot of people that need you. There's a lot of people that are supposed to be affected with your life. So, for me to just decide, nah, I'm saying nah to a lot of people. I'm not. It's not about me. Look, my gift. You a person who you see that they're using their gift and they're really good at it, and they're one of those people who like become really famous at it, or they've been doing it for a long time. They've been living their purpose for a long time, and you see them be like, man, that person. I would say those people. That person is a success. Look, you're attracted to their gift. That's from God. That's not from them. Look, I'm not able to do what I do because it's just me. It's because the God gave me this gift. That's it. Martell ain't nothing without it. In reality, I didn't make me. No one made themselves. So you got to understand it's their gift. It's what God put inside of them. So who am I not to give the credit to God? Who am I not to give the glory to God when I'm using my gift? Come on now. That's just rude. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. If I give you something and you use it and then you go ahead and do all this stuff and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're just so good at this thing. And then you never give credit to where you got it from. Come on now. That's just wrong. That's how it is. But yeah, Look, your position in the kingdom is important. So now let me go ahead and break down this thing that I came up with 3 years ago. I call it the purpose equation. The purpose equation is your game plan for discovering your purpose, for living within your purpose. Now, let me tell you what it is. Let me show you it. Okay, look at that. Boom, pops up on the screen. Great, the purpose equation. So in my study, in my going through the Bible and reading all these different books, talking to different people, studying different lives, I've studied a lot of people, of successful people successful, because definitions are different sometimes, but there's people who I've looked for certain characteristics, certain things that they did in their life or in their story that let me know that they were living within their purpose. And I studied those lives, and then I came up with an equation. I call it the purpose equation for how a person can live within their purpose. And I've been working within it ever since. And I would say that my life is pretty darn good. And I pray that I think, and I pray that it continues to get better. And I think that things have been going good and they are going to get better. So let me go ahead and break it down. It's strengths plus passions multiplied by action equals purpose. Strengths, your talent, your gifts. We talked about that. Your talents, what those things that you are naturally inclined to do, those things that you are naturally, without experience, without having years of practice in it, you're good at it naturally. Those gifts, and then your passion. There are certain things that you just like to do. There are certain things that you like to do, and there's certain things that you like to do that also present the opportunity for you to use those things that you're naturally good at. So take those things that you're naturally good at. Go ahead and figure out what it is you like to do. Put the two together and get to work. Multiply it by. I say multiply it by action, because multiply implies more than addition. Multiplication and addition. Multiplication is going to give you a bigger number because there has to be a lot of action. You ain't going to do as much as you're supposed to do, or you're not going to do the level of things that you're supposed to do without that action piece to it. Like I said, there's that quote: work beats talent when talent doesn't work. So you were born to do certain things, and you're naturally good at certain things. And if you go ahead and apply those to the areas of things that you like to do, now you hit something. You're gonna feel it too. I promise you will feel it too. You're gonna get into that thing and be like, dang, okay, I like doing this. This is something. There's something different about this. Somehow when I'm doing this thing, people are gravitated towards me more. Resources just seem to keep on coming to me, and it seems like when I need something, it's there. I just don't know what it is. I don't know how this thing's happening, but it seems like when I'm doing this thing and I'm doing this thing that I'm good at, and then I'm doing this thing that I like to do, I want to keep doing it. When time just seems to fly. They call it in that book from the Japanese, they call it flow, right? The translation of the word, I don't even know how to pronounce it in Japanese, but the word for it is flow. You get into a certain flow when you're doing that thing that you're good at and the thing that you're passionate about. There's a flow. Time just seems to fly past. You just seem to be able to work harder than everybody. It seems like you're working hard because you're putting in more time, and there's results that are coming from it, but you don't feel like you are working harder than anybody. You're just working because you like to do that thing and you're good at it. So you just putting more time in. You just naturally are putting more time in. Now, don't get me wrong. There is going to be a point when you're doing something, when you're actually developing and growing something, that you need to actually put the grit, put the work in, and it might not feel as, oh man, this is just the best thing. You're going to have to put some work in. Trust and believe that. But understand, like that area, you can put the time in because you like to do that thing. And it just seems like things just happen to work out for you when you're in that area. And understand that's where you're supposed to be. That flow, that flow is where you gotta be at, because that's good. That means you're in your area of purpose. Now, stay in that, develop that, live in that, and keep moving. Just keep moving, because I promise that it's only gonna get better. It's only gonna get better. Oh man, that area of your purpose, that the strengths plus your passions multiplied by that action, that is your lane. That is your lane, and don't neglect that. There's a lot of people who they understand they might have gotten a vision when they were a kid or whatever, and they were doing something and they knew that they were really good at it, but they decided to take a different route because maybe their parents told them to do one thing, or another, or someone convinced them that this is going to make more money, or whatever the situation may be. But they decided that they were going to not do that thing that they were good at and that they like to do, because this made more sense in that moment. And then they realized, oh, this isn't getting me where I thought it was going to go, where I thought it was going to get me. I don't feel, for some reason, I just don't feel fulfilled in this area. I gave the story last week of the unfulfilled life, or of the very, very average person, a life without direction. And that's a person who's not living within their purpose. That's the person who decided to choose a different route rather than what they were passionate in and what they were good at. They decided to take the route of the least amount of resistance. And now their best times, their most fulfilled moments in life, are the things that only make them happy. That's why people put so much importance on happiness, because it's like they decided that, happiness is important. So when I get to eat my TV dinner and my kids are in the bed and my wife isn't yelling at me and I can watch the game, that's the best time of life. Man, I'm telling you, that's sad. If that's your best time, then you aren't living. If that's your best time, then I pray for you. You aren't living. So get into that area of your strengths, get into that area of your passion, and man, get to work. Get to work. Develop it. Learn everything about whatever industry that might put you in. Really understand it. Like get the connections, get the people, do your research, study, and get moving. Get moving. And I promise the results are going to be a life of fulfillment and purpose. And everyone, we are at that time. Thank you for tuning in to the Young and Anointed podcast. I'm sad that Karen never jumped in, but thank you for being here. I hope that you got something from it, and I hope to see you next week. My name is Martell Fletcher, and you just listened to episode number 14 of the Young and Anointed podcast, How to Discover Your Purpose. Thank you for being here.